What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I think first I'd like to just start by saying, thank you so much for engaging. Thank you so much for, the comments, the likes, just all the engagement has really been helpful on the channel. Just some quick achievements. We hit 500 views in less than a month on the YouTube channel. And that just goes to show that the kind of content that I'm creating on this channel is useful and can help a lot of people. So today's topic is on how to be sexy. Right, a very, very interesting topic to be speaking about. I think first I'd just like to explain that being sexy is very contextual, right? There's the local context and then there's the global context. Okay, when you're thinking about global context, you're thinking at a larger scale than usual, right? Am I one of the sexiest men in the world? Of course not, right? There are much sexier men than me. Thinking about like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson or Michael B. Jordan, right? These are way sexier men than me. But if we think about now the local context, like in my case, Nairobi as an example, right? I think I'm slightly above average. I think I'm a work in progress, and based on the environment I'm in, there's certain traits that I exhibit that could consider me to some as being sexy, and I'm going to share what some of those traits are in this video, and hopefully it can help you as my audience to adopt to also develop yourself and become more attractive and whatnot, right? So actually, let me give a bit more insight about the local context, right? So in Nairobi, I think for me, ever since I got back, there's just it's two things, right? The first one being is I think men in Nairobi don't really know how to present themselves in a sexy way. I don't know if they don't know or they don't understand. It's very rare that I go out and I see another guy and I'm like, yo, mad respect, props, like that guy's gonna be my competition for the night, right? Whereas on the flip side, right, Nairobi women, yeah, y'all are like top tier. You all are just in a league of your own. Nairobi women are top tier when it comes to beauty and brains. Honestly, from my experience, I don't think there's any other ethnic or geographically located women that beats Nairobi women. And if you really want to understand what I'm talking about, if you live in Nairobi or you're visiting Nairobi, right, just go to Oysters Bay on a Sunday afternoon and then you'll understand what I'm talking about when I say that Nairobi women are just basically in a league of their own, right? Cool. So, and then the other thing that I guess is also very sort of acts as a validator that gives me some credibility to talk about this is that from my experience, whenever I go out, it's very rare that I don't get compliments, especially from women. Girls would come up to me, tell me I look really good. Girls would come up and tell me that I look sexy. And I appreciate all of you guys for doing that. In fact, more than anything, I welcome it. I really love that confidence. I really love it when a girl can just be upfront about what she wants and be very direct about things. So yeah, if you're a girl out there and you find me attractive, by all means, shoot your shot. Come up to me, give me a compliment. You can ask to buy me a drink or something. And if you're also attractive and I find you attractive, we can see how things go from there. All right, so that's the whole contextual information. Now let's talk a little bit about the actual characteristics about what being sexy is like, right? So there's two categories when it comes to being sexy, right? The first one being there's the external traits and then there's the internal traits, right? So I'm going to start talking about the external traits about a sexy man and a sexy woman, right? To give a bit more context, right? A lot of the traits I'm describing would work for a sexy masculine man or a sexy feminine woman. I'm not too exactly sure. I don't have really experience as to what a sexy feminine man or a sexy masculine woman would look like, right? This is just from my experience, from my knowledge and things I've seen and learned and things I also apply into my own life as well, that I think can, help a masculine man or a feminine woman become more sexy on a day-to-day basis, right? So now let's talk about the actual external factors, right? The first one being is your body, right? You need to develop a aesthetically pleasing, or in this case, a sexy body. And the way you do this is through working out, going to the gym, lifting weights, dieting, progressively overloading, getting enough sleep, and just generally putting up on muscle and developing an aesthetically pleasing body, right? So for the men, an aesthetically pleasing body is essentially a body type where you're in the range of a 10 to 12% body fat uh, range. This is where like you have the least amount of fat in your face. So you'd have a chiseled jawline. You'd be a lot more shredded. You'd probably have a six-pack abs. If you have a well-developed chest, broad shoulders, a wide back, and then overall muscle development on both your upper and your lower body, right? That's when your body is in like the most sexy or aesthetically pleasing and attractive phase of its cycle, right? And for women, it's very, very similar. Your body percentage ranges between 18 and 23%. This is where you're a bit more toned. You don't have that much fat around your body. Things are very slim. Also, another very like sexy characteristics is that if you have the hourglass shape, that is quite sexy on most feminine women. So that's essentially the sort of body type that is most appealing and most sexy in today's market, in today's climate, right? So that's when it comes to body. And like I said, the way you get to this is through, lifting weights, dieting, gymming, making sure you're progressively overloading in your workouts. That way you can build muscle. And also getting enough sleep, which is very, very important for just recovery. And yeah, that's what you need to do in order to build a sexy body. And I do offer coaching services for health and fitness. So if you'd like to hire me as your health and fitness coach to help you build a sexy body, you can always do that and just book a free consultation with the link in the description of the video below. So the next phase of external factors that make an individual sexy is your fashion and your style, right? So once you have the body right, you need to dress in a way that complements this body, or basically accentuates your physique and makes it more appealing. And the way you do this is by wearing clothes that fit you well. When it comes to fashion and style, I think fit is king. The name of the brand, the style, like you could be wearing designer brands like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, or Italian brands like Cucinelli and Massimo Dutti and Zegna. Like if it doesn't fit you right, it's not going to look sexy and it's not going to look good on you. So always prioritize fit. You'd rather spend money on buying a secondhand clothing and then taking it to a tailor to actually fit you appropriately to your specific body type than spending over $100 on like a Gucci shirt or something like that, and then it just doesn't fit you appropriately, right? So when it comes to your fashion, fit is king. For men, you want to be wearing slim fit clothing. Avoid baggy clothing, oversized fits. If you're trying to be or present yourself as a sexy man, you want to be wearing slim fit clothing specifically. You can probably get away with relaxed fit clothing, but that's primarily if you're wearing it for a shirt or a t-shirt. But everything else should ideally be slim fit. Avoid skinny fits completely. And similarly for women, likewise, you also want to wear more slim fitting clothing that sort of complements your body type. Don't wear things that are too tight. Don't wear things that are too short. Just wear things that are just very visually appealing and then also fit your body type correctly. And another thing when it comes to fashion and style, choose fabrics that are sexy. Choose fabrics that are appealing. So when it comes to like clothing types, you pick shirts that are like in textured prints. Pick shirts like in linen. If you pick fabrics like silk or velvet, those are very, very sexy fabrics or for clothing to be wearing on your night out or when you're going out on a date. For guys and for girls, for guys specifically, if you want any inspiration on like, how to dress or style, you can follow me on Instagram. I usually post a lot of my fits whenever I'm going out or on dates or going out to clubs. So you can probably get inspiration from that. Yeah, and for women, if you're looking for a good inspiration on how to dress and present yourself in a sexy way, you can check out Tantaliza on Instagram. She is someone that I find very sexy and also strikes me as a girl who's quite sweet and also very intelligent. So Tantalizer, if you're watching this, check your DMs. Maybe we can go out for drinks sometime or something. The final thing when it comes to fit and when it comes to fashion and style is jewelry. If you wanna present yourself as a bit more sexy, you would definitely want to accessorize. The way to think about accessories is that it should be sort of the icing on the cake and should never take priority of your overall fit. For guys, you can get your ears pierced like I do. You can, get yourself a nice little chain. Either get yourself a Cuban link or a Figaro or a rope chain. Those are usually safe bets. Get either in gold or in silver. Avoid, by all costs, gents, avoid wearing pearls. Honestly, if you're trying to present yourself as a sexy masculine man, I don't think pearls will help you in presenting that specific look. So, avoid pearls. Another key thing when it comes to jewelry, like your jewelry should always match in your fit. So if you're wearing gold earrings, right, your necklace should be gold, your ring should be gold. Everything that you wear should essentially be gold. Likewise, if you're wearing a brown leather belt, like your shoes should also be brown leather. Your watch strap should be brown leather. They should essentially just all match, right? And that's like sort of the basics. Once you get more comfortable and you're able to develop your style a bit more, then you can begin experimenting with like mixing different leathers and also mixing different type of jewelries. But yeah, that's essentially the basics. For men, it should just be the icing on the cake. Don't overdo it. You don't need to be wearing 6 chains and like 20 earrings and whatever it is, right? Always like a good rule of thumb is just observing the rule of 3. Always making sure that you just have ideally like 3 accessory items. Like, in my case, I currently have 4, but that's still just within like the low range. I have this watch, I have this ring, I have this chain, and I have these earrings, right? Those are 4 accessory items. And likewise, you can play within the range of about 3 to 5. That's ideally like sort of the best optimal range for accessorizing. So the final external factor that you need to work on when it comes to presenting yourself in a sexy way is your personal grooming and your hygiene, right? I think first off the bat, right, like everybody, you should be clean, you should be showering, you should be smelling good. Take care of yourself. Please don't be going out smelly. Don't be smelling of sweat when you're out. Like, these are all things that are not appealing and are not sexy and would turn off anybody that comes to you, be it, male, female. Like, these are things that will just turn people off. So, you always want to be making sure that you're smelling fresh, you're smelling clean. If you're going to be going out and you're dancing, like, don't overdo it. Don't like break out into a whole sweat, because that doesn't really look sexy. You just want to, do things in a way that are optimal, ideally, right? So that's the basics of everything, right? Now let's talk about other aspects, right? So for guys, let's start with the face, right? The first thing is your hair, right? For gents, you want to be regularly getting haircuts, always making sure you're looking fresh, you're looking on point. For most guys right now, I think the thing you want to do is pick a haircut that works for you, your head shape, and pick a haircut that's also quite popular in the world today. So currently, one of the popular haircuts is getting some form of fade, whether it's a low fade, a high fade, or some taper or anything like that, right? So just pick one that works for your head shape and also looks good for you as well. When it comes to women, I think, any hairstyle that involves you having your hair open looks the most sexy, in my opinion, especially if you're a feminine woman. But that's just my opinion. You could argue against it. So that's hair. When it comes, let's look at other aspects. Let's look at now the face, right? Men, you shouldn't be using the same soap on your face as you do on your body. My guys, please get yourself a moisturizer, get yourself, a facial scrubber, get yourself if you want to go the extra mile, get yourself a toner as well, right? This is things that I've been doing for many, many years, and you can see my face, right? It's very smooth, no pimples, and it's very, very appealing. And it's been like that for many, many years, just because I have a good skincare routine, right? So, for you gents, like, by all means, like, look for a good skincare routine. I'm happy to recommend to anyone like my skincare routine that I do on a regular basis, just to help anyone ease their way into how they can get into that. I'm not gonna talk too much about this for girls. The advice applies the same, but I feel like a lot of girls already know about this stuff, so I'm not gonna delve too much on that for girls. And then the final thing the next thing for grooming is, for gents, if you can, right, get yourself, try to grow out a beard. Make sure it connects, right? Don't be having no patchy beards or anything because that doesn't look sexy. If you can't grow out a beard, you might as well just be clean faced. You'd rather not have anything at all than have a patchy looking beard that's just not appealing at all. So now the next thing is your nails and your feet. For gents, you want to make sure that your nails are groomed short. Keep them well manicured. Get a manicure if you can, or a pedicure whenever. All your nails should be short and clean. Don't be having no dirty, long ass nails because that does not look sexy or appealing. For girls, get your nails done, have them nice and long, have them beautiful and great colors. This is something that a lot of guys pay attention to. Like I myself, whenever I see an attractive girl, I always try to look at her nails, and if she has open shoes, I'll look at her toes, just to see, it's a good sign to see whether this is a person who really takes care of themselves and values their own self-image, right? So yeah, take care of your nails. Make sure they're clean, make sure they're good looking, and they're appealing as well. Right, so now let's talk about the internal factors of what makes a person sexy. I think the first thing is their mannerisms, right? Their behavior, right? If you're trying to portray yourself as a sexy man or a sexy woman, right? For sexy men, you want to be acting like a gentleman. You want to behave like a gentleman. You want to be respectful of other people, respectful of the women that you're engaging with. You want to be kind. If you're on a date, you want to be opening the doors for the girl. You want to make sure you're paying for the date. Don't be splitting things or going on half, right? If you want to present yourself as a sexy man, right? These are some of the traits that you must be exhibiting all the time. Avoid the thug life, the trapping lifestyle, trying to be gangster and everything like that, right? That's just not sexy as a sexy masculine man. That is definitely something completely different. So, avoid behaving that way. Similarly, for women, you want to be behaving like a lady. You want to be a bit elegant, quite graceful about how you approach situations. Be quite classy. Avoid behaving ratchet, avoid the whole bad bitch energy. And there's a time and place for all those things, right? But that should not be your behavior all the time, right? Just use your own discretion as to what sort of behaviors you want to be exhibiting. The next important internal trait is confidence, right? You could be looking the best, having the best sort of mannerisms, but if you're not confident in yourself, then you will not exude any sexiness, right? You have to be very confident when you're speaking to people. You have to make sure, be very assertive, very assured for yourself. This is especially for men, right? Speak with a deep, slow voice. Make sure whenever you're acting and whenever you're doing things, make it very intentional when you're speaking. And likewise, for women, you want to be confident about who you are, and you should be, right? Because you're looking good, you're smelling good, you're very fresh, right? So that in itself should also make you feel good. And the way you approach people and the way you approach life should be from that perspective, right? As this very confident, smart, sexy man or woman. Now, the next trait that I think makes people very, very sexy is intelligence, right? Not without a doubt, right? If you're smart, you're good looking, you have great behavior, and you're confident, you are essentially a league in your own, right? Because when you think about it, right, you could have look so good, but there's no substance behind you, right? You need to be able to engage people in very intellectual conversations and be able to just present yourself in a smart way that just adds more substance to your whole character, essentially, is what I'm trying to say, right? So try to get educated, read a lot of books, listen to podcasts that open your perspective, and just expose you to different ways of thinking, such that you are in a position where whenever you're in a conversation with anyone, right, you can talk as deeply, as vaguely, as broad about various topics, just because you're someone who's quite educated on just the way the world works. Now, the final trait that I think is very, very sexy internally for a lot of people is being kind, being nice, right? That's like, it's such a simple thing, but a lot of people seem to miss this, right? You want to be a genuine, kind and nice person. And I think that is just like the icing on the cake, right? If you are good looking, if you're smart, if you have great mannerisms, if you're confident and you're nice as well, right? This is just icing on the cake. It's actually the cake, right? And this will put you in a league above most people in whichever environment that you're in. So yeah, that is my advice. Those are my tips and tricks on how to become sexy. Let me know below in the comments what you think about this advice and these tips and tricks. If you need help in terms of leveling up your own, like, what is health and fitness, dating, relationships, trying to make you a more sexy individual, right, you can hire me as a coach. Just check the description below and just book a free consultation, and I'll be more than happy to help you on your journey. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.